part of any city and any country or state, and we can think of Connecticut in this way as well, is people's perception of it and the myth of a place, right? I mean, that to me is almost more important. When you think about Bridgeport, if there was something like Pleasure Beach there, if there was an amusement park in Bridgeport, maybe you would think of the amusement park.
Bridgeport, Connecticut, where the murder and crime rates put it as one of the most dangerous cities in the country. A city where the high school graduation rate is lower than 65%, with little signs of improvement. A place where a dying industry has caused widespread economic downturn and for poverty rates to soar. But Bridgeport, Connecticut is also a city built around the ruins of a once great metropolis. Pleasure Beach is a peninsula off the coast of Bridgeport. Now turned into an overgrown wasteland of abandoned buildings, it's hard to imagine the amazing place it once was. But by 1919 an amusement park began to be made which served the citizens of Bridgeport, as well as the surrounding towns. It boasted a carousel and a selection of rides unmatched by any other nearby facility. A bridge was made to make it easier for the citizens of Bridgeport to get there. Pleasure Beach grew with the city of Bridgeport as it was beginning to prosper.
What I remember the Riccio Bridge, going over that, being a little concerned, scared. And then, of course, like any young child, I liked the rides. They had rides there. They weren't much, but the big attraction was the carousel, the merry-go-round, we called it. Riding the merry-go-round, and then they had boats there. They called them putt-putts, and they were little small boats. I would say probably 6 feet long, about as long as that couch, and they had a little, like a lawnmower engine in the front of them. So they were inboard engines, and these boats would go in this maze that they had that was filled with water, and you would drive them around, but you really couldn't drive them because you couldn't turn around and go the other way. You just followed along. And we would drive those and the other rides. And then we would eat. And we did not use the beach there.
Bridgeport produced 1/3 of all the ammunition and arms for the Allies. Just Bridgeport. And when Connecticut itself probably produced about half, because Hartford was also producing tons of stuff as well.
Remington Arms, a lot of that.
Yeah. And so they had guards, they had soldiers. National Guard was protecting the port here at Bridgeport all around Remington Arms, because they were afraid there were going to be spies and saboteurs coming in here to Bridgeport.
The arms industry in Bridgeport brought in major funding during the two world wars, and Bridgeport flourished as a production town. However, the business slowly died and the city was left purposeless and without any good source of income.
Well, with Pleasure Beach, I think the main problem was it declined slowly. And that was really bad for it. If there had been one incident, maybe they would have come in and fixed it. But it had some of the same economic issues as the city. In the early 20th century, when you had amusement parks like Pleasure Beach, they served the community. They served, in this case, Bridgeport, Stratford, Westport even, all those surrounding areas. Because you weren't going to drive to the Jersey Shore or drive to Cape Cod for the weekend. It just wasn't feasible on those roads with those cars. So by the time, now fast forward a couple decades after World War II, we start getting the interstate highway system. We start getting, it's a lot easier. The cars are better. So now, if I want to go somewhere for the weekend, do I really want to go to the beach in Bridgeport here, or do I want to go to Cape Cod? Do I want to go to Pleasure Beach, or do I want to go to the Jersey Shore where they have a boardwalk and the whole thing? That's part of what happened. The local people stopped doing that.
So right now I'm at the Pleasure Beach Theater. As you can see, it's been completely vandalized and laid to waste. There has been no attempt to restore it at all. And on the inside you can see that it hasn't been touched except by people trying to vandalize the area. Let's go inside. A lot of the old props and things that were used in the theater still remain, such as this fan. And the seats are all original, obviously. The hallway leading up to the entrance is entirely covered in graffiti.
One of the things that really screwed it up was the fact that the bridge was destroyed. It was hit by a boat at one point, and then it burned. Very strange. Was it natural? Was the fire set by somebody? I don't know. It's kind of shady. So, but that was the end, because then people couldn't get there.
It was after the bridge burned. That's a whole other story. Why did the bridge burn? Bridges don't burn. Easily. It's not like it's a hay barn or a pile of leaves that are dry. It's all wood. Now, granted, it's covered with creosote. Creosote burns. But, it's not. It doesn't start from a match or a cigarette.
In 1996, a fire of questionable origins caused the bridge to be burned down, finally ending Bridgeport's ties to the peninsula indefinitely. The cottages were abandoned and the legendary amusement park left overgrown and vandalized. The 40 cottages have since been burned or torn down, and the only remnants left are of the summer theater. Pleasure Beach lies as a testament to the once great city connected by the bridge. Restoration attempts have failed, and the future is looking dark for the ghost town. Pleasure Beach still sits there, hoping for a thriving Bridgeport to return and turn it into the amazing place it was almost a century ago.